Dead Presidents, is a gripping and thought-provoking film that explores the intertwining narratives of the Vietnam War and the struggle for civil rights in America. Directed by Albert and Alan Hughes, this 1995 drama takes viewers on an emotional journey through the experiences of a group of African American soldiers who return home from the war to a country that has drastically changed. Set against the backdrop of the late 1960s and early 1970s, Dead Presidents delves into the poignant connection between the USA's involvement in the Vietnam War and the African American soldiers who fought bravely on the front lines. As the war rages on, the film highlights the complex dynamics at play. Young men from marginalized communities are sent overseas to fight for a nation that, back home, subjects them to racial discrimination and economic hardship. The story primarily follows the life of Anthony Curtis, portrayed by Larenz Tate, a young African-American man who enlists in the Marine Corps to escape the bleak prospects of his Bronx neighborhood. When he returns home after his tour of duty in Vietnam, he is confronted with the stark realities of life in a racially divided America. Unemployment, poverty, and racism are rampant, and Anthony struggles to provide for his family, including his high school sweetheart Juanita and their child. Frustration and desperation lead Anthony and his friends, portrayed by talented actors like Keith David and Chris Tucker, down a path of crime as they hatch a daring plan to rob an armored truck. Their decision to engage in criminal activities becomes a desperate bid for economic stability, and a symbol of their disillusionment with a country that has failed them. Dead Presidents skillfully weaves together the experiences of African American veterans and the broader narrative of the civil rights movement during a turbulent period in American history. It sheds light on the complex relationship between the Vietnam War and the struggle for racial equality, emphasizing the sacrifices made by African American soldiers overseas and the discrimination they faced on their return. This powerful film not only serves as a poignant reminder of the challenges faced by African American veterans but also as a reflection on the larger societal issues of inequality and injustice that persisted during this tumultuous era. Dead Presidents is a compelling exploration of the intersection of race, war, and justice in America, and it remains a thought-provoking and relevant piece of cinema. During the robbery scene in the film, Dead Presidents, each character experiences a profound internal conflict that reflects their individual struggles and the complex dynamics within their group. Here's a detailed description of the internal conflicts each character grapples with. 1. Anthony Curtis. Anthony's internal conflict primarily revolves around his deep sense of responsibility for his family. He's driven to commit the robbery to provide for his high school sweetheart, Juanita, and their child. He's torn between wanting to be a good provider and fearing the risks and consequences of their criminal endeavor. Additionally, Anthony's internal turmoil stems from his experiences in Vietnam. He carries the emotional scars of war, including traumatic memories and survivor's guilt. The robbery serves as a way to cope with the post-traumatic stress he's experiencing. 2. Skip. Skip's internal conflict is characterized by fear and doubt. He's the most reluctant member of the group, driven to participate mainly because of his loyalty to his friends. His internal struggle intensifies as the heist progresses, as he grapples with the enormity of their crime and the very real possibility of violence. Skip's internal turmoil is exacerbated by his comedic personality, as he uses humor to mask his fear. This creates a conflict between his desire to remain jovial and the grim reality of the situation. 3. Kirby. Kirby's internal conflict is rooted in his status as the older and more experienced member of the group. He knows the risks involved and is concerned about the consequences for their lives, especially Anthony's, who he views as a younger brother. His conflict revolves around his protective instincts for the group. As the mastermind of the plan, Kirby also carries the burden of leadership. He must balance his desire for financial security with the well-being of the team and his awareness of the moral implications of their actions. 4. Delilah. Delilah, Anthony's sister and a key participant in the robbery, grapples with the conflict of trying to break free from the constraints of her gender and societal expectations. She seeks financial independence and sees the robbery as a way to escape her limited options, but she also fears the dangers it presents. Delilah's internal conflict is layered with the desire for empowerment and her concern for her brother's well-being. Her journey highlights the struggles of women during this time period who sought to challenge traditional roles. 5. Jose, a member of the group and a war veteran, grapples with a conflict that arises from his loyalty to his friends and his desire for a better life. He sees the robbery as an opportunity to escape poverty and oppression, but he is also aware of the risks and moral implications. Jose's internal struggle is complicated by his experiences in Vietnam, which have left him scarred both physically and emotionally. His desperation to improve his circumstances fuels his internal conflict. Overall, the robbery scene in Dead Presidents serves as a powerful catalyst for exploring the multifaceted internal conflicts of each character, highlighting their motivations, fears, and the moral dilemmas they face as they embark on this dangerous criminal endeavor.